going to take a look at the movable or transposable fingerings for the minor triad arpeggio and fit this arpeggio into the 6-2-5-1 and 2-5-1 chord progressions. We'll begin by examining the 9 fingering positions for the minor triad arpeggio, beginning with finger 2 on string 6. So here we'll start with the A minor triad, and we play finger 2 and then up 1 string and down 2 frets to stretch to the minor third. Then from there up a major third to the perfect fifth. That's up 1 string and 2 frets from our starting note. And finally the octave on string 4 at the same fret. As always, we can avoid playing 2 consecutive notes here with the little finger by using the third finger to play the fifth. Moving this position up 1 string to the 5th string over a single octave, we have exactly the same fingering. Moving up to the 4th string, we're now going to finish on the 2nd string, the B string, so as always we have to take account of the different tuning. So our final octave will be 1 fret higher. Thus. Then we have the 3 positions, starting with the first finger on each of the lower 3 strings. So on string 6 we play finger 1, the minor third, up 3 fret spaces with finger 4, then finger 3 plays the 5th, and the octave either finger 3 again or finger 4. Up to string 5 we have the same fingering pattern again. And beginning on string 4, the 4th finger will play the octave on string 2. And the last set of 3 positions begins with finger 4 or 3. So if we play finger 4 on string 6, our minor third then falls under finger 2 on string 5, the 5th, finger 1, string 4, and the octave finger 1 or finger 2 on string 3. Moving up to string 5, our octave will now fall on string 2, so we play with the 2nd finger. That's fingers 4, 2, 1, 2. If we begin with finger 4 or 3 on string 4, then the minor third, 5th and octave all fall on the same fret. Fingers 3 and 1. Now here I can't see an easy alternative to using a partial bar with 1 finger over these top 3 strings to play the arpeggio in this position. You could play fingers 1, 2 and 3, but that's actually quite a tricky fingering in its own right. So maybe this is the point to think about gritting your teeth and getting down to really mastering the technique of barring 2 or more strings with a single finger. If it really proves too much for you, if you have unusually small fingers, or perhaps you're stuck with a guitar with a particularly harsh action, then you might just have to avoid this pattern altogether and stick to the 1st and 2nd finger positions when you're playing arpeggios from string 4. Okay, if we're beginning on string 6 or 5, this arpeggio can easily be extended over 2 octaves. So if we begin the first finger on string 6, we end the first octave on finger 3 or finger 4, so we're in position to play the upper octave using the finger 3 or 4 position we just looked at. This can be avoided by making a small shift to play the second octave beginning with finger 1 or 2. If we begin with finger 2 on string 6, once again we end with finger 4 at the octave, so we're again in position to play this pattern in the upper octave. Or we could use either of the two alternatives, moving to finger 1 at the first octave, or to finger 2. Playing over 2 octaves beginning on string 5 is always going to involve a shift of position. So one possibility is to move to finger 1 at the first octave, and then the minor third falls here under the 4th finger, and then the 5th and octave under the same finger at the same fret. So this involves barring 3 strings with the little finger, this can be avoided by moving to finger 2 at the first octave. And now our minor third falls under the first finger on string 2, and we can slide up to use finger 3 to play the 5th and 4 to play the octave. Playing over 2 octaves starting on string 4 is going to involve far more position changes or stretches. I'll leave you to explore the possibilities of that for yourselves. So now we have the minor triad arpeggio and the major triad arpeggio which we learned previously, and we can put them together to form the sequence that follows the 2-5-1 and 6-2-5-1 chord progressions. An important thing to remember about these chord progressions is that the root of the chord moves by the same interval each time. That's up by a 4th or down by a 5th, the 4th and 5th intervals being inversions of each other. This opens up a whole range of possibilities for moving the arpeggio patterns around the fretboard. We'll just look at a few of them now. To start with, we could move the chord roots in the same relationship that they actually appear in the scale. That's to say, we'd start with the 6 on a higher string and then move down a 5th to the 2nd. From the 2nd we move up a 4th to the 5th, and from the 5th we move down a 5th to the tonic, or one chord arpeggio. This pattern using no stretched fingerings, we can play the minor arpeggios beginning on the first finger, that's the 6 and 2, and then the major arpeggios beginning on the second finger, that's the 5 and the 1. As usual, we practice the arpeggios in the ascending form, then the descending form. 6, 2, 5, 1, and backwards and forwards. repeat. The 2-5-1 progression can be played in a single position just by moving up the strings. So we go from the 2 on string 6, the 5 on string 5, to the 1 on string 4. Beginning with the second finger, or beginning with the fourth finger. For another variant, we could play the 6 on a lower string, then move up a fourth to the 2, down a fifth to the 5, and up a fourth to the 1. Now, wherever you can play the whole of a chord progression using full 2-octave arpeggios, that is without dropping off one end or other of the fretboard, you should do so. Of course, that's just one possible combination of fingerings you could use. Now, as with the 1-octave arpeggios, the 2-octave arpeggios should also be practiced in the descending form. And back and forth. Notice that with the 2-octave arpeggios, as with the single-octave arpeggios, when I play the back and forth pattern, I'm omitting the final root of each arpeggio. This keeps the whole pattern in a regular time signature and helps to create a smooth flowing transition between each of the arpeggios. We've now completed our 3 major key chord progressions in Triad Arpeggios. In the next couple of videos we're going to go on to look at the corresponding minor key chord progressions, again using Triad Arpeggios, in the course of which we'll meet our final Triad Arpeggio form, that's the minor flat 5, before we move on to the 7th chord arpeggios. So I hope you'll be able to stay with me, and we'll meet again next time.